Good morning.
Good day.
Good morning.
We
Good
are
morning,
here.
everybody.
We are live. I think I'm having technical difficulties. I don't knocked over stuff. I'm doing all kind of stuff over here. But we're here.
We're here.
Yes, we
We're
are.
here.
Good morning, love bugs. Good morning, Konnect Up family.
And so with that being said, whoever is joining us today, we're glad to have you guys here. We're glad to be here. Good morning, Consuela. Good morning.
Good
And
morning.
so we're just glad to be here. And
Good
hey,
morning,
Tracy.
Tracy.
And so one of the things is we want to talk about this once. We got our second filming. Hey, Joyce Bunny.
Joyce.
We got our second filming that we recently did live, which was amazing to even get through the whole process. And so we want to talk about that and get the people ready for what we know is coming and just the excitement of it. And I know some of you guys, I know I haven't even gotten calls and texts that are interested in even having further discussion. So where are you guys standing on all of that? Because this is kind of opening us up for a whole new avenue of ministry, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that it did open up a whole avenue of different things, especially that suicide
Oh,
segment. Oh my God. That to me, I felt like even as this week, I was just thinking, God, I don't think we're through with that because I think it's so many people that need that. And it's I just think healing will come or
right,
is coming to some people that's listening. So I don't
right,
think we're finished with that at all.
right.
Right.
Tracy?
So I agree. We during our filming, we talked about so many topics that we could literally do, more segments on. And while we were on, LaFaye shared something, marriage wise, and we were just talking about it a little bit before we came on this morning. And so we're excited for you to be able to hear those things that were discussed because we believe that it's going to help your not just your life, but your marriage, your ministry, your family. And it's like you said, Gabrielle, it's going to open up a whole new realm or lane of ministry, not only for us, but for you all who are listening in. I believe you're going to get some information that is going to be like mind changing for you. And so I'm excited about that thing. And I love the fact that our conversation are conversations that sometimes we don't want to have in the four walls.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't just don't want to have them. We don't have them.
You're right.
No,
We don't have. Come
you
on,
know,
LaFaye.
That's the
and
truth.
I think that I was thinking about it right when we left and got home. I contacted Gabrielle and told her, "Did you hear about the Miss USA? She had committed suicide.
Yeah.
Jumped
Oh my
out of
goodness.
a window out of a building." And
Yes.
so thinking about what we had just talked about it, and since then, another person they
I'm
went
telling you.
looking for her. She was like on the Olympic team, and
Uh-oh.
she committed suicide.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yes.
to have that show, it I, it was just awesome. I think it
Right.
was just. I just can't describe it. How to see how these people are just struggling, and how
Right.
mental health is so real. It is
It's
just
so
so.
real.
It's just so real.
So
It
real.
is. It's so real. It's a mental health is a necessity now. I don't recall in all our years, hearing of so many young people
Yeah.
that have their whole life ahead of them that are now ending their lives.
Yeah.
And so that was a very important segment to me. I told y'all that had been weighing on my heart. It still is because we come back from it and we hear more of it. And
Yeah.
so my prayer is that, as we're talking about it and people are hearing about it, they're spreading the word that we can help somebody to say,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
there is hope. Hey, Keisha Edmondson, there is help. There is hope for me, in regards to what's going on around me, no matter how depressing it looks, no matter how hopeless it looks. Because look, people are making permanent decisions over temporary situations.
Yes.
And that
Yes.
is, you know, the Bible teaches everything is temporal and subject to change. And so
Mm-hmm.
they're feeling like that there is no change. Well, that just says to
Mm-hmm.
me that you really don't know the word,
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
situations change and you're making permanent decisions over
Mm-hmm.
temporary situations. And that goes even for a suicide, or even in our regular lives. As I'm thinking about it, we will jump and make a decision that's permanent and not understand that that situation could have changed the next day. And
Right.
so I think that's important to me. That's important to hear. That's important for people to know. You don't have to move so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Give it time, because I
Mm-hmm.
promise you, I
Yeah.
promise you, it will change, ladies.
Mm-hmm. And you know, even as you was talking, I was thinking about how the enemy would try to make you think that the situation that you're in is so permanent.
Right,
It won't change.
right.
But just like you said, in that moment, if we could just stop and
Just
think,
hold,
this too shall pass.
just
If I could
hold.
just get a grip on my thought process,
Right,
because that's
right,
where it is. It's in our thought process of
right,
where we're thinking,
Yes.
that the enemy try
right.
to make you think that the problem is bigger than it really
Then it
is.
really is. I
So if
remember
we
this, y'all. I know we only on we just doing a quick blurt right now, letting
Mhm.
people know that they gotta watch these next episodes. Hey, Glenda Barnes, I love you.
Hey.
So and so one of the things I gotta share this right quick. So one I'm flying somewhere. I don't think Chris was with me that day, and I think I was going to minister somewhere, and I began to look out the airplane and look down beneath, and how the view from up high was
yes,
way different than the view from where
You
I'm
from
on
what?
land.
you
You know
better
what I'm
say
Mm-hmm.
that.
saying? And so those buildings that would normally look so huge and overwhelming
Mm-hmm.
from a different viewpoint, they were so small, look like
Yeah.
they were just, you barely could see
Mm-hmm.
them. And I
Right.
began to think spiritually how sometimes the things that we see look so huge and unbearable, and like we can't overcome them. But baby, if you
Mm-hmm.
just change your point of view,
Yes,
Yes.
Change
yes,
your
Yes.
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 perspective.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
you
talk
will
about that a
see it
lot.
different. You will
Mm-hmm.
see it
Yeah.
so differently. So that was just, for me, it just kind of, oh, I could actually see it, and I was like, that's so major. So I just want to encourage people to hold on,
Yes.
Yes.
catch these next episodes
Get your grip.
definitely, because they are so encouraging. We even
Yeah.
have a Q&A session. You want to catch that. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling you, change your perspective and just hold on, because change is coming.
Yes.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think just stop being so competitive. They was talking about the Miss USA. They was saying that about time she was, just because she hadn't did something about time she was 30, she felt like she was a failure.
Oh
My
wow.
Lord.
And the girl, she was, and you think about it, she had accomplished so
Right,
much,
Yeah.
right.
but just in her mind, because at this certain age she hadn't accomplished this and she hadn't did that. Sometimes we get into a race that we running and God is not even running with us. We just going on without him.
It's
Mm-hmm.
because it's not even that kind of
It's
race.
not that even that
As
kind
the
of
Bible teaches
race.
us, he that endured. He doesn't have faith
Yes,
to get there.
To the
Then you
end.
just
yes,
hold on. Hey, Stephanie
hold on.
Gibson.
Yeah.
Glad you're here. But if we could just hold on, it's not about the fastest, the quick. And I tell you, I take a seat in a heartbeat, be like, okay, wait a minute, let me see if I'm hearing this
Yes,
right. Because again, we talked about the weight of things that weigh on
Mm-hmm.
us. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like you're saying, LaFaye, that's part of it, because we
yes,
again are comparing and going by what we think others have done and they are doing.
yes,
Sometimes they just lying.
Well, we live in this social world, and everything
Yeah.
is on social media, and everybody posts everything. And so sometimes that social media life will cause you to be in a place of comparison and competing that you actually don't need to be in,
It
because
doesn't
it's
even
not always what it
exist.
looks
they
like.
don't even
Exactly.
Right.
That's not
no.
what it
Right.
looks like. And sometimes, we post because we want people to think that we're doing so much or we're achieving so much,
Attention.
instead of saying,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is where I am personally. I can cheer you on, I can celebrate with you, I can congratulate you, but I can
Yes,
move in my lane and I can move at my pace and still know that I'm winning as well. Still
Right.
Mm-hmm.
know that I'm
Yeah.
succeeding as well, because with the hand of the Lord on my life, I still succeed. My
Right.
success just may look different, it may come in a different pace, but it doesn't mean that you're not succeeding. So
That's
when we
it.
don't have these conversations,
Yeah.
when
We don't have them.
We
I'm
don't
yeah,
telling
have
you.
them. And understanding that everybody's pace is different. And
Yes.
your success may look different. I'm just gonna tell you, hey Tina,
Hey,
I'm gonna tell you how for us, I don't try.
Yes.
Just an example, I don't try how many businesses, and you might be like, "Hey, she just keep failing, just keep failing," And finally, at 50, we find our sweet spot, I would like to call it, whatever. And God has truly blessed that. But if I had looked at everybody else or looked at different people, hey
hey,
Kay,
Exactly.
Kay.
had looked at different people and what they were doing, then I would have given up because I would have thought my situation was permanent. At one point I started to think that it was. But God, baby, just hold on, ladies. He
Mhm.
will bring about a change for
so
you.
Gabrielle,
And definitely don't end your life over
Mm-mm.
what you see other people doing. Is not worth it. So those weights,
yeah,
we got to
Woo.
get rid of those
I was
weights.
just
And
about to go into that. I
yes,
was
go
glad
ahead,
you said
Sissy.
that because those are those weights and those facades that we talked about, in episode
Yes.
2 that lead us to that place of feeling
Yes.
like we don't want to live, living is no longer an option for us, or they'll be better off without me. It's because of the things, sometimes it's because of the things that we put on ourselves. It's the weight
Right.
we carry, the pretense that we live in. And so this is this time, y'all, when God is saying, first of all, come out of this pretense.
Right.
Because you don't have to be anybody else, and you don't have to put on for anybody else, because who you are is enough.
Is
Y'all
enough.
listen,
Yes.
Yeah.
listen. I'm gonna let y'all talk. I'm getting excited. So, and then the other thing was we talked about the healing and the process of healing from the inside out. The reason why you are allowing all these weights to be put on you and to take you down is because something is not healed in you,
Yeah.
or because when you're healed and whole, you won't let this take hold of you because you know who you are and you'll be okay with being who you are.
Who
And so
you
we
are.
even talked about being healed and the process, going through that process and not letting other people put things on you to cause you to continue to stumble. So we even got to roll it back that understand that it's temporary, but deal with what's going on inside you that makes you feel like I've got to compare myself to Susan down the street. What's going on with inside of us that makes us feel like what has been said that's made you feel like you're less than if it doesn't look like this. So there
Yeah.
are things we've got to go back and address inside us before it can manifest outside of us. So that healing was major too. The healing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
healing filming that we did was just amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I remember a lady, and me, and when I was first married, and
Yes, Nikita. Okay.
we went and this lady, these married couple, and it was they looked like they were just so happy. They were just so happy, and like we was talking about pretense. And I remember when he passed,
Right.
and we went over to her house, and the lady told us she was so glad that man was dead because he was so mean.
Right.
All these years we thought he was just such the wonderful husband and the pretense
The
of
pretense.
what we saw, and people were just so jealous of him because he would be nice, and she said she couldn't have no say, no anything. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we looking at things and we think, oh, that's wonderful, that's great, but when you get off over into a thing,
Into a thing.
Mm-hmm.
when
Yeah.
you get over into it, when she told us that, my mouth flew open, and she began to tell us stories about how it really was. And you thinking about, we all jealous, or we all telling this is the way we want our marriage to be, and this is the way we want us to be,
But
not
baby,
yes,
Not
not
knowing the
knowing.
whole story.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, y'all.
and
We
I
got a
think that was
question.
one of my
Mama,
things.
we got a question on the screen, y'all.
Can I say something right quick first?
Yeah, go ahead.
So one of my things was that, going into what LaFay was saying is that I think I've seen marriages that have lasted 30, 40, 50 years, but they were miserable marriages. Outside looking in, you wouldn't have known that, but they were. And so in my mind, I think many women have to make up in their mind that I want quantity over quality. And so I want quality over quantity. I said that backwards. And so for us, I've been married now 30 something years, but I thank God that it's been a quality marriage, and it's not about the years, because years to me, and I'm miserable, means nothing. I mean, I mean means nothing to me. I'm not gonna live in a miserable relationship at all. So I just had to get that out there, like she was saying. You never know
You
unless
never
you
know.
sit behind that door, and it's a lot
Yeah.
we just don't know.
It's
So
a
you
lot
gotta
we
be
don't
honest
know.
with yourself, okay? You
Yes.
said we got a question, Kay?
Yeah, we have a question. The question is, what do you do if your self-esteem has been chipped away at? So anybody want to take that question about self-esteem?
I start. I
Okay.
think we did I just keep talking. Yeah, praise Jesus, God to you. So I
Well,
think
honey,
and then I let y'all talk. But no, I think we did a thing, a brief little thing online the other day, Tracy, and it was talking about having the scriptures that tell you who you are,
I
and
just
how
talked
we've
about this
said that
last night.
people have to know who they are. And but then the thing that hey Daniel, but then the thing that came to me, hey, but then the thing that came to me was I got a couple of questions after I did, I was saying knowing who you are, and they were like, "How do you?" And I said, "You have to go back to define yourself according to what the Bible says who you are, because self-esteem is basically going at who you are, and telling you who you're not and what you can't be and all this. So if you feel like you're unlovable, the Bible, we gave scriptures on what he says, you are loved. You are forever loved. If he talked about you being, you felt abandoned because of situations that came about, we talked about how the word says you've been adopted into the family, so I think you go back to the word of God to define who you are. And then as those, and I always say this, as those words come back to you, the negative words, then you replace them with the words that God says you are. So if they said you weren't lovable, what does the Bible say about you? If they said you were unworthy, what does the Bible say about you? So I think that's how we define who we are. And I know for a fact, if every time it comes, you tear it down, it will be replaced. It will be.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say to this question something I said during our talk. Let people in, but here's the thing: you got to change who's around you, and you got to change who you're around.
Yes.
Because sometimes what's chipping away at our self-esteem are the people that we've allowed to be in our space, the people who we've allowed to speak into our lives. And so if you're constantly listening to that and all you hear is somebody downing you and demeaning you, then that's what you begin to believe. And so
Right.
you have to now listen, changing who you're around and changing who's around you, it takes courage, because sometimes you feel like these are the only people I have, these are my only friends, or this is my family. Listen, God will staff, as one of my friends says, she says God will staff your life with the people you need. That's Bishop Marlon Thomas. She said God will staff your life with who you need, and he will put
Yes.
those people there who will help to pull you out of that place of feeling like your self-esteem is gone, and then help to push you into a place where you can know, hey, I am who God made me to be. I am what the word says about me, like Gabrielle said. I am loved by God. As I said last night, I'm a masterpiece, baby.
I
But
heard you say it,
we
girl.
don't
I
sometimes
heard
we
you
don't
say
know
it.
that. Sometimes we don't know that, one, because nobody's ever told us, two, because we don't go to the word of God, and three, because we hear it but we don't believe it because we've heard everything else,
Yes.
and that's
I
what
go
we
with
believe.
that.
So the same way it was poured on you, you have to pick it off of you, little bit at a time, little bit at a time, until you get to a place where your self-esteem is first in God better, and then your self-esteem within yourself is better.
Going back to some foundational stuff is what we have to do.
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
We have to do. And so I think that's important. I remember minister or Mr. Barton would say, when he was talking to people about going into in hey, bye. Go have a good day, Stephanie. And so I remember one thing he would always say is that would you keep, like, going back to Latrice when you said changing, our environment basically. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going into a house and every time you walk in, they're beating you with a baseball bat, how many times you gonna walk back in that same door? If every
Right.
time I walk in, you are beating me upside my head,
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong with me if I keep
Yes.
walking back in the same door getting the same beating over and over again. No, I'm
Mm.
not going to do that. So we
Right.
have to be comfortable with change. If we want to change, then we got to be comfortable with making those decisions to change what's around us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then stop letting people hold us captive. Because sometimes
Yes,
we
Oh,
don't
that's big.
change because we let people hold us captive. We'll
right,
let we want to change, but just because so and so said we shouldn't change,
Yeah.
we allow those people around us to hold us captive. It's
right,
not that we don't want to change, but it's like we so bound up with people and circumstances that we don't do the change. We won't
right,
allow the change.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to be willing to let that take hold of us as
Take
well.
hold of us as well
Yes,
to
yes.
release that captivity. Sometimes we walking in captivity and people are not even thinking about us. They don't went on about their business.
That's right.
I mean,
And I,
and people let us do it to them too, because there are times when somebody thought
Yes.
I was mad, and I don't even know what you're talking about. Like I
Mhm.
have not thought twice about whatever you did. I probably, I'd be just out there sometimes. So
And
sometimes I miss all the foolery. Okay, so we're walking around thinking that they have an issue with us, right, Sheila? And we don't even know what they're
Mhm.
talking about.
And one of the things that uh, me and my friend had a discussion a long time ago is that we were talking about this very same thing, and she said something to me, and she said, Sheila, you have to free your own self.
Right,
And and that has been so, I keep that on the forefront of my life, is that people won't free you. You have to free your
mm-mm.
own
you
self from some
know,
things, honey,
right,
because they will hold you, just like LaFace said, they will hold you captive in some
Mm-hmm.
situations and circumstances that God has already forgiven you of.
right,
But you and people hold your own self in still in a captive place. So you have to free your own self.
for
You have to give
yourself.
yourself permission that I have been redeemed from those
Yes.
things. I have been set free. Father
Yes.
God, Abba have set me free from
Right,
those things. Old things are washed away. I am new today. Even if you got to get up, Kate, and say every day that I am a new woman. I'm walking in the newness of life. This is a new day. You give yourself permission to be new. Free your own self. The
right,
Bible talks about building your own self up. You, even if they try to hold you down, you do things that's going to build you up.
right.
Get around your sisters that's going to build you up and speak life into your situation and your circumstances. Free your own self, baby. Don't stay captive. Don't be held by anybody. Free your own self.
And I know Kay had said she uh deals with a lot of people that are in that situation. Sit them on down, Kay. We right here in your side. Sit them all down. I know the price is right. Come on down. So we're here to help out. That's what we're here for. But
Yes.
again, the biggest thing, I'm gonna read this. Tina says, I've learned to become enraptured in what God says to me and about me, my Lord, that has restructured my internal stability mentally and emotionally, and it will
Yes.
definitely,
Yes.
definitely. I like that. It definitely will. So if you define who you are by what He says about you, like what we're saying, it'll
Yeah.
change the whole ball game. Okay,
Yes, it
it
will.
Yes,
won't
it will.
matter. And it won't matter what people around you are saying, but what it also makes you do is, like we were talking about, Latrice said, you also change your circle, because you don't want to deal with, you're not going to be keeping speaking negative stuff to me about me.
Mm-mm.
Like, now, really? I'm
Mm-mm.
not. You're not
No.
Yeah.
going to do that, baby. So you have to change what's going on around
Around
you.
you.
And I also, and I know our time is running out because we already over, but I also realize that as you don't even have to, sometimes you don't even have to intentionally change who's around you. Like Teresa was saying, God will staff the people around you, because as you change, your circle will change anyway.
That's
As
right.
you grow and move into, if you have noticed, as we've grown and moved into different arenas, there are some people that stick, but a lot of times the circle that's
They
around
fall
me,
off.
they fall off. The circle that's around me now is not the same circle that was around me back when. So
Mm-hmm.
as you draw or attract certain people based on you. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So we have the ability
Yeah.
So
to do that. So
Kay Crawford says, I think people embrace a spirit of familiarity that keep them from breaking away. I think that we need to take that topic and talk about it a little bit more in depth at a later time. But you're absolutely right, Kay, because we're so familiar and because
Yeah.
it's almost like this is the devil I know. So I don't want to go into an unknown or unfamiliar territory. I don't want to get to know new people. I don't want to put myself in a place of vulnerability. So I'll just stick with what's familiar.
And that's so true.
Sometimes what's familiar is what's killing us.
That's
It is.
it.
And then when we
Yes.
found ourselves sometimes, and we find ourselves in different situations, we try to fall back to what was familiar as well. I know for a fact, I know somebody that was a drug dealer. And so when things got hard in their life, I'm not gonna tell y'all who they was, because he was my husband. But when things got hard, he my husband, I'm gonna tell anyway. But when things got hard, and they laid off at GE, if anybody like General Electric, and he was like, I got a whole family now. I know how I can make money, and I wasn't on the street doing, whatever. I know how to do this. So he, in his mind, I know how to make this happen, because this is what's familiar to me, because I don't know what we're fixing to do now. So what do we do? So it's amazing that you gotta have somebody that's connected with you that will say, like I said, oh no, we're not doing none of that. God will provide for us. God will take care of us. Cause what good is gonna do us? You end up locked up in prison somewhere. Then who gonna provide? Cause I ain't selling nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So ain't gonna happen. And so that's where your connections are important, because sometimes, depending on desperate people do desperate things, y'all.
Yes.
So depending on your situation and what's going on with you and where you are, sometimes you want to fall back into it worked before, maybe it'll work again, not knowing you may not come out the next time. You know what I'm saying? So your connections become very important, because that voice, when you hear one voice, that proper connection can be the voice that pulls you back to your senses to say, hey girl, we ain't doing none of that.
None of that.
None of that. So
Hey,
that was
hey,
just
my
my
sister,
example.
Dr. Alicia. Hey, my sissy.
Hey, Alicia.
And you have to have that person in your life that will pull you back.
That will pull you back
You
and
have
say,
to
no,
have
we
that
ain't doing
person
that. I
that
don't know
will
what's
pull
wrong
you
with
back.
you. But we're not doing none of that. Hey, Sweat already said you must release yourself and then in love and move on. You got to.
Yes.
You have got to. So y'all, look like we got a couple things that we will continue to address.
Oh,
We've
yes.
been on here almost 30 minutes. We posted doing 15. Just kind of popped in. Let everybody know that we have another we filmed. So our second episode and third episode will be coming out soon as well. Then we'll be back in our studio filming again. But Latrice, remind them about how to get on the show.
All right, everybody, listen. Episode 2 is coming out next Saturday. You'll see our promo video that'll be posted. When you see it, make sure you share it. You can see us right here on our Facebook page, Konnect Up. You can also see us on our YouTube page, Konnect Up TV, and we will be on the Daily Gospel Network. You can see us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. So listen, God is expanding us, and we want you to walk this journey out with us. So it's going to be next Saturday at 11:30. We'll be live right here. We'll be live on our YouTube page and all those other channels. And you'll see how we'll be posting during this week, giving you some snippets to get you ready for this conversation that we're having next Saturday. So listen, thank you all. We're at our 30-minute mark, y'all. So we thank you for joining us today. Listen, if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you share this video. We want people to connect up. We want to be a resource for you. We want you to be able to engage with us so that as we are embarking on this journey, you're able to walk it out with us. I think that's all about information. So listen, have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Ladies, you all have any parting words as we tap out for today?
Go ahead, Gabrielle.
I will let, if y'all got something, go ahead, because I'm gonna tell them about how to get on the live. If they decide to go live with us for our next filming, I want to go into that. So if y'all got something to say, go ahead and say it.
Well, my thing is, I just, want everybody to know that if you have any businesses or anything, we do feature a business every time we tape, every time we film. So if you have anything, if your business or something that you want to film, please get in touch with us. We will feature your business. And as always, like we say, we love you and we're here for you.
Yes.
Mhm.
Sheila, you got it?
I kind of spinned out, so I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry. Kind of went
No, if
out.
you just had any final remarks.
Oh, I just love you guys. We love you guys. Thank you for taking the moment to share with us and just continue share with your friends. Anything good. Sometimes we tend to keep it to ourselves. Because we don't want nobody. We want to keep this to ourselves. But this is Connect Up is something that we don't need to keep to ourselves, because if it's just one little word that's said on the episodes on the show that can absolutely transform your life, then you need to share it with your other sister.
Right.
So I encourage you today to share, honey, be your sister's keeper and
Yes, yes,
share.
yes.
Share. We are our sister's keepers. So we're gonna share with us with our girlfriends. Come on, people that you not even talked to in a while.
Get them
Hit
out
them
here.
up and say, "Look
Yes.
what I found! Look what I found! You need to hear this." So be encouraged today.
Amen.
Yes,
Amen.
and the other thing is too, we when we do our filming, we have a live audience, and it's just a set of small set of people that are allowed in, and so we'll let you know the next time we're getting ready to do a live recording. You have to email in, let us know that you're interested in coming. We'll reach back out to you and give you the requirements for being a part of that live filming. It was fun to us to do that. We had a lot.
Yes.
But we will be doing that each time we film live. So keep up with that, because you just email us at connectuptv@gmail.com. And then that way you're able to join that live group of people that are present. Again, we love you guys. We appreciate the support. We are excited about it. Like, I like y'all be talking to us and stuff.
Hey, Tammy, tell them about next Saturday.
I did.
Oh,
Oh, you
See,
mean the with Consuela?
no, Tammy and LaFay speaking.
oh, you talking? Oh, yeah, we'll be
Invite them to
speaking.
come.
Consuela was on here. Evangelist Consuela was on here, and so next weekend, Sisters of Faith. You can find them online as well. They'll be having a conference and for women. I think this one is for women. And yours truly is on the panel of one of the speakers, and
Yeah.
Buffet is one of the speakers. So we're looking forward to that, because this is the birthing of her ministry. How about that?
Amen.
So I am excited to be
Hey,
taking.
so we're
Yes.
gonna be there as midwives to pep up,
We're gonna be
deliver.
pushing that
Woo!
thing through, because
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yes.
be there helping out. So we are excited about that.
Yeah.
Love you, Consuela. And we're looking forward to being a part of that.
Yes.
I've seen her come in. I mean, she was a part of Woman to Woman back when.
Yes.
And so to see her now in this place, if she's still on, I don't know if she's still in the audience, but we will be there. It's called Sisters of Faith. You can look her up online. I think Sisters of Faith has its own page on
Yes.
Facebook. I definitely know. Her name is Consuela Trammell, Consuela. Trammell, Tra. There she is right there. Sway, can you put up your information or the name of you? I think it's Sisters of Faith. Am I saying it right?
Yeah. It's
Put
just
that
the
in there,
faith ministry.
Consuela. And Latrice will put it on the page for us right quick. Or your flyer if you got that. I don't care. But just know that we are excited, because this is the birthing of one of our sisters, the ministry God has given her. And so we are extremely excited to be, being able to be a part of that. And to share in that with her. So y'all, if you're in the area, I think it's Dallas, Georgia is where she's having it.
Yes.
Yes.
If you're in the area, reach out to her, let her know you're interested in coming and being a part of that. And we are like, that's what we do, is that we are connecting up with others that are a part of the body of Christ as well, and other women, because we're not jealous, honey. We're not
No.
Uh-uh.
nobody, baby. We want to see it's enough.
We
It's
all winning
enough for
baby at this
all of us,
table.
okay?
Yes.
It's
We
enough
all
for
winning at
all
this
of us.
table.
So
Yes.
Yes.
if you got something going on and you want to reach out to us and you're supporting Connect Up, we can reach out and see how we can kind of support you. We
Yes.
can't
Yes.
be at everything, but we are definitely wanting to be true to who we say that we are. Let's figure out how to support each other and be a part
Yes.
of what's going on. There it is on the screen. Be a part of what's going on in the lives of those around. That's what we're supposed to do anyway. We're supposed to be
Yes.
Yes.
Amen.
anyway.
Amen.
Praise God. Until next time, don't forget to
Konnect
Connect
Up.
up.
Y'all have a blessed day. Enjoy your weekend. And don't forget, you'll be seeing promos, like Latrice said, to join in for the live filming that we did. Those topics, y'all, we're gonna have to go on with them some more because baby, there ain't no way you can reach the end of them.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So blessings. Love you guys.
Love
Love
you.
you.